When I was in college, I served in a inner city ministry that would pair up volunteers with groups of inner city kids, at-risk kids, for the whole summer. And so we would hang out with these kids through the summer. We would take them to parks and to museums and do Bible studies with them and basically just hang out with these kids all summer, give them a safe place to be. And I was paired up with a student from an all-black college in the city. His name was Alvin. And from day one, Alvin proved to be fantastic with the boys. I mean, he just had a lot of wisdom to offer them. He had a lot of insight about their life and the way that they lived and how they interacted with their parents. And he was great. But he kept me at arm's length. Whenever I would talk, he would just kind of look at me sideways, and he never really spoke to me directly at all. One day, I went into the mission center to check in for the day, and our supervisor said that Alvin had called in and said he couldn't come because his car wouldn't start. And so I said, well, why don't I just go pick him up? And so the supervisor gave me Alvin's address, and I drove to his campus and knocked on his door. And he kind of opened it a half inch and said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I thought I'd just give you a ride in to the mission center today." And he said, "Well, I can't pay you." And I said, "Well, I don't, I don't need any money. Just come get in the car." And he said, "Okay, fine." So he came out, and we drove in silence to the mission center and had a great day with the kids. And then I offered to drive him home afterwards, and he said, "No, I'll just walk." I said, "Alvin, it's like 5 miles back to your campus, man. Just get in the car." So we argued for a little while. He finally gave in and climbed into my tiny little MG, and we drove for a while. And I said, "Hey, are you hungry?" And he said, "Actually, yes, I'm starving." So we pulled into McDonald's, and we both ordered a meal. And he came up about $1 short of being able to pay for his meal. And he was starting to negotiate with the cashier about changing his order. And I said, "Don't worry about it, I got it." And I pulled out $1 and gave it to the cashier. And he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm just trying to help out, man. It's not a big deal." We sat down at a table, and he started in on me. And he said, "I don't understand why you're being nice to me." I said, "Alvin, believe it or not, I actually like you." And he said, "No, you don't." He said, white people don't like black people." He said, "I don't have any white friends. I don't want any white friends." I said, "Well, I like you. I want to be your friend. I don't care what color you are. It doesn't matter to me." And we went on to have a really good conversation. We sat in that McDonald's for about an hour. And he just had grown up in a culture where he was taught to believe that um, a white person was never going to really value him, was never going to come to him out of sincerity, was always going to have an agenda for him. And so he just grew up resenting white people. And when he met somebody who actually liked him for who he was and wanted to be his friend, it took him a while to believe it. And so when I finally convinced him that I really liked him and I wanted to hang out with him and be his friend, um, he started crying right there in McDonald's. And he said, I never thought this would happen to me. I never thought I would have a white friend." He said, "I want you to meet my wife and my son." And so we drove back to his campus, and I found out I didn't even know he was married and had a child until this point. And we drove back to his campus, and he brought me into his apartment, introduced me to his wife and his son, and we sat there for a while, and I got ready to leave, and I went to give him a hug, and he kind of pulled back, and then he gave in, and he gave me a little hug, and he said, You're the first white person that's ever been in my house, uh, ever in my life." And I said, "Well, I think that's kind of sad, but maybe this is the start of something new for both of us." And I think about Alvin a lot whenever I meet people who have somehow become convinced that they're not valuable, that they're not lovable, that there's no reason somebody could love them. They've made assumptions about themselves or about the people around them that have led them to believe that they're not worthy of having relationships with other people. and that breaks my heart. And but I see it all the time, and so I wonder what I can do about that. What is my role? Um, I think it's just to let everyone know that they're valuable, that they're loved, that each individual person is created by God with infinite dignity and value and worth, made in the image of God, and that every person is loved by God. And because they're loved by God, that they ought to be loved by me as well. And so I try to take advantage of every opportunity to let people know that they're loved and that they're valuable. I think that there are people in our community who, because of a lifestyle choice or because of their history or their past, they assume that a Christian would not want to associate with them. Maybe they drink too much, or maybe they have too many tattoos, or maybe they have the wrong lifestyle choices. And they make assumptions that Christians don't want to be around them or don't want to be their friend. And I think it's my responsibility and the responsibility of all believers to prove that theory wrong, to engage in conversation and to engage in relationship with people who are on the fringes of our society, who are on the margins, and who feel unloved and feel unworthy of being loved. And so I just want to challenge you, as I challenge myself, just to keep your eyes open and watch for that. Watch for people who seem to shy away from contact with people, or especially with Christians who maybe seem to set themselves apart because they don't feel worthy of a relationship. And just see what you can do to go out of your way to show kindness and love, and to help people be convinced that they are loved, that they're valuable, not only to God, but also to us. And let's see if we can change the course of somebody's life by helping them open up to relationships, to love and kindness from people. I just want to encourage you to keep your eyes open this week and look for those opportunities to show love to people who are on the fringes. I believe that we're here to be salt and light to our community. The light is supposed to run towards the darkness. And so whenever we see darkness, let's look for a chance to shed some light. Hope you have a great week. God bless you.